Hi, my name is Marcella. Today I'm going to be reviewing Insomnia. I think I was drawn to this for a couple reasons. One, I've never watched this movie before this class, so that was fun. I also like murder mysteries, and I also like Robin Williams, so seeing him is something that I always would love to do. Loved him ever since like watching Miss Doubtfire as a little kid. I also like Alaska, so the fact that it was set there was super cool. The two things that I want to focus on here are the character of Dormer and then also the editing that I think enhances this movie. So, first we'll jump into Dormer. I want to note Dormer's name first. Dormer, like dormir, Latin, Spanish influences there. The translation is sleep, rest. And he does not get any of that really. So I think that that's like kind of a cool play on words there. But Dormer's the protagonist. He is quite the exceptional homicide detective back in LA. They have sent him to Alaska with his partner to investigate this murder of a young girl. And in this movie, I think the position that he's in really causes us to have a good look at like the battle of morality by having him like evaluate whether he should tell the truth about what he's done to his partner. And then also later, then working with a killer, basically. So, more specifically, with the battle of morality about telling the truth about his partner, right? The obvious choice would be to tell the truth, right? It's always right to tell the truth. But then look at the fallout of that. If all of those cases that he's worked on, built his whole career on, are just washed away, like that has huge implications to just the process of justice and what is morally right there, letting a bunch of murderers go. But then you could argue, for lying, right, that we have to preserve these cases to uphold justice, but then you're obviously lying, right? And so there's moral implications there as well. So I think that that is a cool battle. One specific quote that I found that I liked about it was with Rachel Clement. I think she was talking to Finch here, if I remember correctly, and she says, I guess it's about what you thought was right at the time, then what you're willing to live with. I thought that this was just kind of an insightful way to think about morality and deciding if what you've done is right. It kind of plays into like this line that I thought of, like, what's gonna keep you up at night? The fact that you told the truth or the fact that you lied? Which, kind of ends up being, reason why Dormer stays up at night. So I think that that was kind of an insightful way to think about it. The other element of morality being, played with and battled with here was that, like, his job is to catch this murderer, but he ends up kind of like working with this murderer in an effort to preserve his name, right? Uphold a bunch of his other cases. So he has this moral obligation to catch the guy, but then he's kind of covering up for shooting his partner by working with him. And like just this battle of the moral obligation to catch the guy, but then also knowing like that this guy has the key that could totally like destroy Dormer. So that was another kind of specific cool battle that Dormer was fighting, and I think that these moral battles really helped deepen the character. Like, he wasn't just a guy solving a murder. There's like these whole other layers to it. So I thought that was cool. I also want to talk about the editing a little bit. I thought that the editing really added to just our understanding of what Dormer's going through, right? We can physically see that Dormer is like very unrested, like you can tell in his eyes, especially in the latter half of the movie. Like, he's not looking so hot. But these quick cuts and like the flashes backs kind of thing, he really, like, those specific like shifts help us understand like what's going on in Dormer's mind. The confusion, the just discombobulation that happens when you have this huge lack of sleep. So I think that like these rapid jump cuts were definitely helpful in enhancing the audience's understanding of what Dormer's sleepless nights were like. I also think the editing of these longer, like more intense uh, situations with Finch here, like it definitely helped create an intensity that was very deep versus some of like these shortcuts portray like a very quick and chaotic intensity, right? Not as deep of a level of intensity. So I thought that the editing was also tasteful and enhancing the viewer's understanding of what's happening. Overall, like this was a movie I would probably watch again. I'm sure I would pick up on other little things, and I definitely enjoyed it. Thanks.